Hey guys, how y'all doing? I'm here to give you guys a recap on the new episode of Shokugeki no Souma, San no Sara, or he called Food Wars, the third plate, or Shokugeki no Souma, the third season, on episode 11. This episode right here was just phenomenal, fantastic. I just enjoyed it. There were a couple changes here and there compared to the manga, but I still enjoyed it, and I think it fits perfectly because I just like it. And just in general. So if anything else, let's just begin. We have to it that our buddy Azami does come by to see that they had a victory, and of course, like Souma does tell the entire group, we got one back at Central, that's for sure. And when Azami shows himself, he congratulates them. But apparently, Alice has some sour and bitterness towards Azami for what he did, and she can never forget that because all the letters she wrote to Erina gets torn up all because of Azami. He would not allow Erina to have any connection with Alice, and she was upset about that. And we have to it that Ishiki talks to Erina about see if she's really concerned about Alice-chan, of course. And you guys look like you're friends, but Erina says, nah, I just did a lot of bad things to her. I don't know if she even sees me as a friend. And we see to it that Azami does tell Alice that 32 organizations have been suffered, defeated, and disbanded. And we have to it that Azami was disappointed to see Alice-chan not supporting his cause. And of course, Alice-chan says, look, I don't support your cause, I don't agree with it, and I have nor desire or wish to even help you out on that. Azami therefore tells Alice, look, you took my daughter away from me and made her run away from home. Don't forget, you better watch your tone with me, the way how you speak to me that way. And we have to it that Alice-chan says, look, I can't forget about what you've done, okay? I just hate you right now. Even right now, Souma, Takumi, and Megumi's like, oh wow, what a cartoony face. And of course, we also see to it that Alice tells Azami, her uncle, goes like, I'm not going to let you do whatever you want with the academy. And second, I'm not going to let you do whatever you want with Erina. You hear me? And we have to it that Alice does have a little small bickering moment with Erina-chan, telling her to stand up and be your own person. And you can't stay in your shell forever, and I'm going to be the person that's going to beat you, you know? And Erina is like, hey, watch it. Everything you make is always disgusting. But Alice goes like, well, what you always say is disgusting. She goes like, well, I mean it now. And someone's like, they do get along pretty nice, don't they? And Rose like, hey, watch your mouth, man. Say that in front of them and they will kick your butt. So aside from that, we get to see that many organizations and clubs are being destroyed and disbanded. And you know what's ugly is that those who revolt will end up being humiliated in a certain sense. Like what happened to the students that try to save their club, they get tied up or hanged up to a certain degree or something, and bada bing, bada boom. And we also see to it that what's worse right now is that aside from the changes of what's been happening in in Central in terms of what's going on with the clubs being disbanded, we also see to it that a chef that was supposed to teach for Yukihira Souma's class. Also, this is original, by the way, that Megumi's part of Souma's class. I'll let you guys know that right now. Compared to the manga, it did not have her in there. But it doesn't matter anyway. Like I said, a couple changes, but it still flows with the adaptation with just a couple original scenes, which is enjoyable. We see to it that that Megumi and Souma are really concerned right now because it looks like to me no one is allowed to make their own dishes. They can't even come up with their own originality, which really is terrible. It's like Souma realizes they're not letting us cook whatever we want to cook. Even Shinomiya taught me that. And of course, they do get the message, of course, that the teacher that was supposed to teach Souma and Megumi, original by the way, that the teacher was dismissed because he cannot agree with Central's ideas. And of course, the person who would be the substitute is Tsukasa Aisha, the first seat of the Elite 10. We have to it that he says that I'm here to substitute, help out, but I need someone that could be my assistant in other cases. And of course, Souma himself decides to volunteer, and everyone's like, huh? Are you serious? And he goes like, I'll help you out. And we have to it that he gave a lot of information to Yukihiro Souma, you know? Now listen carefully, because this is where it gets really, really hectic. That if there's no, I highly doubt that any ordinary student, if they do not get this right, then it's doomed to them to die. But you know what I'm talking about. If you watch the episode and if you're up to date with the manga, you will know where I'm getting at here. So let's start right here. What the first seed, or Tsukasa Aisha, gave to Souma. He says, first, use a food processor to make quinoa from semi-dried figs. After that, mince the shallots and julienne the carrots. After that, add ground cardamom and milk to egg, yolks and sugar to make creme anglaise. And then pour it over the sorbet once it cools. Even right now, all the students are like, how the hell can I get that in my head? I will explode. And Souma's like, okay, no problem. He makes it right away, and then he ends up, and we have to it that Souma says, okay, next job is to fry young sweet fish coated with whole wheat flour, right? And then he goes like, senpai, I'm done with the zucchini dish or something. And then the whipped cream will be whipped into soft peaks in 10 seconds. And then by that time, almond cult and wheat plating to like preparing everything. Pretty much Yukihiro Souma became the perfect guy for this routine because of how good he is. We get a reminder that Yukihiro Souma did have all these French techniques bombed into his brain. I mean, in the stagiaire. Think about it. I mean, when we all know what happened in like in last season, where Souma did have a stagiaire with Shinomiya's Shisho, if you want to call it that way, because he was not really knowing this at all, and the moment he decided to push himself and break his shell and go beyond his own limits and actually enjoy the fact of learning these techniques or something, that's what gave him the advantage over this French cuisine cooking right now that the first seat in Tsukasa Aisha or something, whatever you want to say, was presenting to the class as a substitute. He's like, I want you all to make all this in the same amount of time that me and Yukihiro did. And everyone's like, what? Are you serious? And there was a scene with Hisako and Erina talking to each other, and the sexiness of them like changing their clothes, you know, it was pretty like nice. I'll get to that in just a moment, but Hisako and Erina were just doing classes, and Yukihiro Souma realizes that he just helped Central out without realizing when he was being an assistant to Aisha, who was like, whatchamacallit, being a substitute for the class and presenting to the class. It was so funny. Of course, like, Aisha actually looked at Souma's skills really useful and asked him, would you like to join Central as my right-hand man? He goes like, what? And then there was some sexiness of clothing changing with Hisako and Erina, you know. It was pretty sexy, honestly. I can't help it, you know. I mean, come on now. When it's not like you get to see any like other girl that could be this hot. Okay, enough with me exaggerating. Hisako actually thinks Erina that you changed a lot, you know. When Erina says, I don't agree with Central's ideas and it's not absolute. And she ends up saying that it was because of Yukihiro Souma and the Polestar dorms that refuses to change. And how do you think Souma managed to take on the 9th seed, Aizen Senpai, like to a rigged up match and still won, you know? And we had to it that she tries to, tries to deny the fact that she got influenced by Yukihiro and Alice, but in the end, they end up seeing Yukihiro Souma and the first seat Aisha talking to each other. Yukihiro Souma's like, I'm supposed to be joining Central as your right-hand man, right? I don't agree with that. So no. Aisha was depressed again, and we had to it that Aisha says, you know, like, you can actually learn a lot, like, when you cook with me, and I just want to refine my cooking skills. But Souma's like, look, this is just for your own cooking, right? And honestly, all you freaking like chefs are like selfish a-holes. And I think in my mind, don't forget that you're a selfish a-hole too, okay? But aside from that, we had to it that Aisha tries to convince him otherwise to try to be his assistant. You'll learn a lot and learn skills that you may never have compared to what you have right now. And Souma's like, that is only as an assistant, right? I don't see any point of like joining you if I can't serve my own cooking. And someone's like, you really think of nothing about your own cooking, huh? And he literally told the first seed off like this, like, you haven't even tried my cooking yet, and it could be that I am better at cooking than you. I'm thinking in my mind, I like the fact you got balls, kid. I really like the fact you got balls, but you're talking to a first seat here, first seat of the Elite 10, and of course Megumi asks, what's Hisako and Erina doing, and they go, just shut up and keep your mouth shut, okay? And then they just end up eavesdropping, of course. And Aisha's like, oh, so you really want to challenge that fact, huh? How about you take me on for whose skills are superior? I can face you here and now, and I'll wager my Elite 10's first seat against you. But if I win, you will have to work with me in Central. You got it? And someone's like, you serious about this, right? And Aisha's like, of course. When am I not serious? And someone's like, bring it on! He even put down his bandana and gets ready to take him on. But apparently Hisako, Megumi, and Erina's like, what the hell is this guy doing? And of course the dish will be venison, and Soma's like, let's do French cuisine. And he goes like, ooh, that's pretty slick. Even freaking like Erina to Megumi, Hisako, well, Megumi is just original filler, by the way, just a reminder, but that's okay because I love her anyway. They go like, how the hell is this happening? And we have to it that they're concerned because like if Yukihiro Souma really loses against the first seat, he will have to work for Central and be the underdog or right-hand man of Aisha Senpai or the first seat, which is something that they don't agree with. And apparently we get to see Aisha's cooking real quick, and he was pretty smooth, slick, and powerful. And we have to it that Hisako explains that after rubbing the meat with salt and pepper, he's using a salamander to slowly and gently cook it. And Megumi adds on to that he's lining the skillet and diced venison fat and tendons so that it doesn't come in direct surface with the skillet surface. And even Soma realizes that the first seat is actually doing it very well and basting it with melted fat, etc. And his careful ingredients is so good and tender towards them. Even right now, Erina says this is how he's the first seat of the Elite 10 in the academy, because he's communing with the ingredients through the truest sense of the word. It's like it shows an image where he asks the deer or buck venison to come to him, reside in my dish, and that's where like Megumi and Hisako realizes that the venison's juice seems quietly rippling within the meat, and just it's like he's speaking to the ingredient to its full potential. Even right now, just looking at it and smelling it right now, Hisako and Megumi are like freaking blown away right now. I'm thinking in my mind, oh my gosh, how much sexiness are they freaking gonna put in here, you know? Even right now, like Hisako and Megumi are like knocked out right now, except Hisako's on the ground, Megumi's on her legs, and like Erina's like, his sensitivity and technique for surpasses that of mere mortals alone. Like, he is de werbe rita del tafo tsukasa eshi. Or, in other cases, I think he's known to be a silver knight whatsoever. I don't know. This is the freaking strange language I can't pronounce or even, like, translate. It's like, de werbe rita del tafo or something. Tsukasa eshi. And it's like, Erina mentions that he has set foot in the divine realm ruled by the gods of gourmet dining. And Soma asks a question to Aisha like, what is Central's true goals right now? I mean, like, we all know that, I'm pretty sure Soma says, like, I don't think Central's idea is to take over Totsuki Academy, but there has to be something beyond that, right? And he even compliments, Aisha Senpai like, your cooking is so good that you don't even need to join Central. So what's up with it? Like, what is the true motives or goals? And we have to it that Tsukasa Aisha, I think, or the first year of the Elite 10, if I forgot his name or mispronounced it incorrectly, says, I guess you could say that the Central's goal is to shut down all the restaurants in Japan. And even right now, Erina to Megumi and Hisako to Soma's like, hey, you can't be serious about that, right? He goes, and Aisha's like, yeah, we are serious. I'll tell you what he said. And this is what Azami said. He says, We must annihilate restaurants that serve mere animal feed unworthy of being called food. It is an absolutely necessary step in order to advance Japan's gourmet dining. And to do so, nurturing superior chefs who will become our army is essential. Are all preliminary steps before the subpar restaurants are shut down nationwide. Nationwide, aside from like shutting down like the restaurants in Japan, they're trying to go possibly beyond the globe and change the cooking world and replace it with restaurants that provide true gourmet dining. And that's when Souma asked a question. So, city restaurants that cater to the masses, huh? So, restaurants like Mitamura-san's Western restaurant and my family business Yukihira Diner are all unnecessary, right? And that's when Hisako was actually concerned because she was at stagiaire with Yukihira Souma at Mitamura-san's Western restaurant. And even Souma asked, like, so that means it's even if that means there'd be people we lose places they really care about? And Tsukasa's like, yeah, but that's unfortunate. Even Erina, Megumi, and Hisako, who were eavesdropping and watching Yukihira and the first seat go head-to-head in a match, are really concerned. Megumi is just original filler. I mean, just to let you know. I mean, it's okay because I love Megumi. Everyone does. But aside from that, we have to it that Souma says, you know what? I'm not going to... That is something I can't accept. I'm going to win this match. I'm not fit to even go with Central. I'm going to tell you that right now. There's one thing I forgot to mention, that there was a filler scene with Megumi being called by her chief or something, that her research society or club is about to go have a Shokugeki when Souma was about to have a talk with Tsukasa, the first seed, to become his right-hand man. Forgot to mention that. I'm so sorry. But aside from that, Yukihira Souma, like I said, repeating the ending, says that I'm not going to join Central and I'm not going to lose this match. This is not going to happen because we all know Yukihira does take great pride in his diner and the place where he grew up, and the memories he made is something that he cannot afford to lose. He even told Aishi, the first seed of the Elite 10, go like, you're going to lose this match. I'm not going to lose, okay? Etc. And starts his serious cooking skills. I gotta say, this episode was pretty cool, and the preview of the next episode does involve like a couple things here and there of what's to come, but it's the possible aftermath of the match, you know, which will show up in the next episode, which I look forward to. You know, I'm surprised this is really episode 11 of Shokugeki no Souma, San no Sara. I'm trying to wonder, like, how many episodes are left before, like, the third season ends. And if it continues on, I'm very excited and can't wait to do more recaps, hopefully. But it all depends on what happens in the next couple of days. I'll get to that off topic later, maybe in the future, but yeah. Aside from that, I gotta say, this episode was really good. I'm looking forward to more, and I can't wait to do more recaps and talk about this episode so much because it's just exciting, you know? I just can't help it. Aside from that simple summary, in case if you don't like all the details I've given you, it's just like the result of Ryokun's match and Azami being a little upset to see how like they got a first victory on them, and many other clubs are being disbanded and destroyed, and the first seed of the Elite 10 becomes a substitute teacher due to the fact that that teacher will not accept Central's ideas and absolute gourmet dining whatsoever. And that's where Yukihira Souma becomes an assistant to Aisha and then ends up having a match with him to make him become his right-hand man, because Yukihira Souma's not interested in Central. Not to mention, he says that his cooking is possibly better than the first seat, which is something that I would not say for sure, but we'll have to find out. But yeah, aside from that, like I said, episode was good. After Yukihira Souma was told that Central's major goal is to shut down all the restaurants in Japan and possibly travel around nationwide and replace them with true gourmet dining, we have to that Yukihira Souma decided to get serious. Yeah. So yeah, like I said, episode was good. Looking forward to more. I'm so excited to see more, but it all depends like what happens in a few days, which I will make an off which I will make a video about that possibly later in the future. So until then, I'll see you guys in my next video. So I'm Officer People. Have a good day. I'll see you guys next time, alright? Peace out. Bye-bye. Toodaloo!